Please excuse any noises that you hear. And, I'm not sure if I'm ever gonna, like, post this video, but I guess I'm just doing this. I'm really not sure why. But, so, I know I've posted a few videos about me talking about my parents, but they're not, like, full videos. They're, like, shorts. This may also be a short, too. I may break it up. I don't know. I may post it for a whole video. Honestly, I'm not sure. And I am not posting this on my main YouTube account. I'm going to completely post this on a different one. I'm not sure if I'm going to be even posting it on there. I may just be keeping this for myself. But, I guess I'm not making this video to be mean to these people or for anyone to say anything, because I love these people with all my heart and they have done a lot of good things for me, and I don't know, this is just me. Like, I love them to death, and I don't know. But, and it's just harder, I guess, when it's like your own parents and they don't understand what they're doing either. Especially if their parents didn't really do their best with them either. But, or one of their parents didn't do that good to them. But, again, I'm not sure if I'm ever going to post this or not, but, I did write a letter for them to kind of just let them know how I felt. And that did not go as planned at all. It kind of went downhill. I mean, I'm kind of glad it did open up for a discussion. I didn't send them the letter. I kind of, like, kept it for myself. But I sent it as a text message. And, of course, that did not go as planned. Not at all. And they just, you know, I don't know. It just didn't go well. I thought it was just a manifesto. And, like, it didn't really matter. But I'm like, these are things that even if it's just worries for me and they're not, like, things that they were thinking, they could have been like, okay, no, these are just worries. Let me go back and read it, or us read it together and let me get a better understanding or something. I don't know. They just automatically took it as a bad thing when I was just trying to explain, like, how I've been feeling growing up, and then until now when I've came out. Because all this stuff is new to them, but to me, I'm like, I've been this way my whole entire life. And it's not just that, it's also just some of the ways that they handled things when I was younger. And I feel like those situations could have been handled better. Especially with the whole, like, getting into arguments and, like, degrading my mother at times. It was kind of hard on me, and he may have not meant them that way, but I took them that way. Especially some of the conversations that him and my mom have had, and then my mom having to come to me and being completely upset, and then me being the only person for her to go to, and then me being, like, a young child at that age. I'm not really sure how to feel about that. Like I said, I love them both a lot, and they have changed a lot, but there's still just some things that I'm just now having to, as an adult, having to go, like, you go back and you think about it, and you try not to think about these things. Like, I've tried to push them to the far back of my mind as much as possible, because I just didn't want to deal with them, and now these things are coming back to me, and, you know, I just try to deal with them and go on, but sometimes it's hard to ignore things, especially when you've kept them to yourself for so long, and it's just kind of hard. I'm probably not going to go really into detail on any of this. Then again, I might, I don't know. Again, I may not. And again, I love these people to death. I just don't know if anyone else has been struggling with this, have anything similar. I don't know. Again, this may just be for me, who knows. But again, like, the letter didn't go over really well. I called, and, yeah, big manifesto. I apparently have brain farts like this all the time. Like, they say I do well for so long, apparently, and then, like, none of my concerns or feelings mean anything. So, yeah. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of holding my phone. I have my stuff over here to use it, but I'm probably about to do a cosplay here in a minute, but I'm not 100% sure. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but again, I may never post this, but, again, I love them. It's just kind of hard because people don't understand. They're like, well, why talk to these people? Why do this? Why do that? And it's like, because it's my parents. And I've had people look at me and be like, if this was someone else, would you be tolerating this stuff? No, probably not, but it's my parents. It's a completely different situation. I love them, when I talk to them, want the best for them. You know, I have moved, so I'm not really in that anymore. I mean, I just think sometimes, too, distance away from people kind of changes things because you're not on top of people. And it kind of gives you guys a little room to breathe. But, like I said, it's just been really hard. And I do love them to death, and I always will. It's just kind of hard, especially with all that was going on at the time. And, like, some things I didn't really understand because, no, I was not an adult, so I didn't know what was going on. Again, I don't want to make them out to be a bad person, but, like, I feel like some things could have been handled better. At the time, they may have thought that that was the best, which I'm like, you know, I mean, they thought that was their best. I mean, we all do things thinking that we're doing our best when we actually could have handled the situation better. But yeah, I mean, it did kind of open the topic for us talking about me being, like, trans and all that, or, you know, me coming out and all that, and I feel like it might have helped in a way, but I don't think he took it the way I wanted him to. They thought that I was just automatically being negative towards them when that was not my intentions at all. That was kind of just showing, like, hey, I would have liked if we, you know, like my mother with, which I understand religion, I'm not going to knock anyone's religion, but I'm just not, I don't know. I don't think I'm necessarily one religion. I, you know, am fascinated with, like, different religions, and I'm, like, I'm not tied down to one religion. But, you know, I don't know. I'm just more open-minded, I guess. But, yeah, I don't know. Because of, one of their religious views, I feel like they don't even look at me, or, like, it's hard for them to, like, talk to me. And, like, they really don't know what to say or do, which I understand. This is a big change. Sorry, but I'm, like, I know this is, like, a big change, but, like, I feel like it's unfair the way, like, they address me or treat me sometimes. And I don't know. Like, they don't even use the right pronouns, which I'm not going to force them. Like, whatever. I'm going to live my life and go on. But I'm like, you know, it would help if you would just, you know, they're like, we accept you and all this stuff. And I'm like, if you accepted me, you would call me by my name, my name, which is my legal name now. You would try to address me that way. You would try to treat me that way. But, like, it just doesn't work. And then, to their own convenience, if things don't go their way or whatever, I get degraded sometimes. And they're like, oh, be a man or whatever, or, you know, and then if certain situations happen, or if they're mad and whatever, you know, just being called, like, bad things and stuff like that, or BTCH or whatever, you know, and it's just a lot. And I don't know, like I said, sometimes I think about the stuff that happened as a kid, and I'm like, I wish, like, the situation would have happened. And my mother so many times was like, I'm gonna leave your father, I'm gonna leave your father, I'm gonna leave your father. And of course that never happened, but that is still, like, a lot on a child. If you keep constantly saying you're gonna leave this person because of all the stuff that you're saying is toxic, and all the stuff that they're doing to you, like, I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm like, I'm a child, I shouldn't have been having to deal with this. And no, I love my mother, I get it. She didn't feel like she had anyone, and I was the oldest, but I'm like, I wasn't that old. Honestly. Like, I don't know. But she'd be like, I'm gonna leave him, and then, like, never did any of that stuff. Like, we stayed, and, like, sometimes I feel like he was mad for no reason, and, like, I didn't understand. Come to find out, it was something simple. And it's like, he'd be fine, and then later he'd be mad for, like, no reason. And, like, it just never made any sense. Never. And there was occasions where we were sitting there, and we might have been in our rooms, and he came in there, him and my mom were in a fight or whatever, came in there, and throwed things, like shoes or whatever, at us to get us out of the room, told us to leave, whatever, told us not to interrupt, things like that. And I'm like, thinking about it now, and I'm like, you could have handled that better, could have just told us to go to our rooms, or they could have took us somewhere else, I don't know. But like I said, it's just a lot. And, you know, my dad's like, why didn't you just tell us all this back then, because we would have thought you were gay or whatever. And, like, I'm not trying to say anything, like, I don't know. I'm like, because you didn't accept gay people back then, like, you were totally, like, rude about it. Like, he said some really bad, nasty comments, which now, he's not like that anymore, but still doesn't mean that those things weren't hurtful. But I don't know, there was just a lot going on, and I'm probably not ever going to talk about all this stuff, but I don't know if anyone's out there and have had the same issues, or just now thinking about it, or if they're going through a transition or anything else in their life, and it's kind of hard. I have been trying to, you know, do things that are better for me, you know, to kind of help myself out a little bit better, which things have gotten a whole lot better, especially since I moved. I feel like the situation has been a whole lot better. And I don't know, sometimes I wish even though I've left, you know, sometimes, you know, you're still gonna miss some of your family, but I'm like, sometimes I wish they would call me and stuff. Like, they don't even really call me as much. Like, I don't know. It's also being weird in a different situation with, when you're, like, with somebody who had, like, a partner who has a loving family and they accept you no matter what, and, like, they just view you as, like, a guy or whatever you're wanting to, you know, what you're wanting to people to call you and all that stuff. Like, they view me as me. And I feel like that is very amazing. I'm kind of glad that I found these people. I'm really thankful to them, and especially my girlfriend. Like, I appreciate everything they've done for me. I mean, my dad has done a lot of stuff for me too, but I'm like, I've just never, it's kind of weird going from like a situation that you really didn't have like these connections with people, and her family are so close to each other that it's just different. So, I don't know. Sometimes I feel odd because I'm not used to having these, you know, relationships with people, and they're all just so close to each other. I don't know. Sometimes I feel strange. But it is a good thing, and I'm glad. And it's just, when she lived with me in the state that I was living, and her parents called her every day out, every afternoon, just to check on her. And they work full-time jobs, but they still made time to call her. I moved, I left. I barely even get a phone call. Maybe a text every once in a while. But, like, I get it. They work. I get it. But I'm like, her parents have the time to call her, and mine can't even do that. Like, I know I wanted a little space, but I'm like, it kind of makes me feel bad. I'm like, you could at least call me every once in a while. Like, her parents are completely different from mine. Like, I understand. Everyone's parents are different, you know. They're not all going to be the same. I understand. But I'm like, they even remember the small things that I wouldn't even think of. Like, they, just for me. Like, I'm just like, I'm not used to this stuff. But yeah, and like, her parents never like degrade me or anything. Even if there's some stuff going on, like, never. And I don't know, it's just a lot. Like, I know my parents love me, but sometimes I just don't feel it, if that makes any sense. But yeah, there's just a lot. And again, I don't know if I'll ever really like fully on like talk about it. But I don't know. But that's about it. I don't know. Like I said, it's gonna take a while, and I know in my other videos I said I was gonna write them a letter, and I did. Did not go well. I don't know if I'm going to be disclosing any of, like, what went on, but it just did not go well. Like, he even, I'm sorry, I know I'm talking in circles, but back to the first topic, I did write a letter. Did not go over well. I had sent him it in text format, and he, like, blew up my phone. I could not answer at the time because I was currently busy, and I was at her parents' house. You know, just a lot of stuff going on, and, like, he was blowing up my phone, then he started blowing up her phone, and my phone was kind of dead. I needed to charge it, and I kind of wanted time to have a break before I just called him. You know what I mean? Kind of collect myself and calm down. He blew up on her, called her, and was like, where's he at, blah, 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 or, you know, he didn't really say he, I don't think, but he was just saying, like, where are they at, blah, 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 and there's a nickname they call me that's attached to my dead name, which, you know, I'm not gonna say it's bad, but I just necessarily don't want to be called that anymore. But they're like, where's blah, 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 you know, said dead nickname or whatever. And she's just like, oh, they're not here with me, you know, because I wasn't really. But, she told me, and I looked at my messages and threatened to come where I was at, and it did kind of freak me out, which I don't think he actually would have. But, you know, just a bunch of stuff. And basically, if I didn't answer him, there was some stuff, and he said some hurtful things about my mom, like, just some hurtful things. Like, said that I was gonna, like, hurt my mother if I didn't call or whatever, if I just stopped talking to him. Never in the letter did I state, or the text messages, I stated that I was never going to text him, which I'm not gonna show any of that on here because I'm not going to. That's their pride. That was the conversation between me and him, and I don't think I'm ever gonna show it to anybody. But still, I don't think it was right for him to be like, I'm going to come down there, you're going to hurt your mother if you cut us off and all that stuff. I'm like, that's my choice if I ever did. And seeing text messages like this, like, what if someone else picked up my phone and see this stuff? They wouldn't take it the way I was. I don't think anyone was. They would have took it as threats, and, you know, he should have thought about it, which I don't think he read the whole message. He just seen it and was like, oh my God, this and this. And I'm like, that is totally not it. But again, it's just a lot, and it was a lot to take in, especially when I was talking to him. And, like, he didn't understand any of the things that I said at all. And he's like, well, what if I just one day decided I wanted to my wiener? And I'm like, you know, like, chop his wiener off. And I'm like, that is different. If you're trying to compare that to a trans woman, that's a completely different thing. Like, that's not even close. And that kind of irritated me, and I don't think he meant it that way, but, like, it was completely wrong. Like, you do not say that. And, like, yeah, it just... He was trying to help, but it made me feel like he was kind of making fun of the situation. I'm not sure, but again, like, he says stuff, and he never really means it that way, but still, it is not right. Like, you cannot speak that way. And I'm sorry, I would be like, why? But I wouldn't be like, okay, you know what, I'm mad at you. I'd be like, okay, that's your decision. That's what you want to do. You know, I'll roll with it. If you ever wanted me to call you mom, I would roll with it. I'm sorry, I'm a very accepting person. But yeah, it's just a lot, and there's just a lot of things that just went on, and I now think about it, and I'm like, I think they should have been there for me more, and a bunch of stuff. But yeah, I even feel like most of the time I had to be the parent of my mom, my other smaller siblings, and like, I was a kid. I'm like, you expect me to also take care of them and watch them, because you all don't really, I don't know. I feel like when I was younger, they watched everything I did and was more stricter. I think they didn't really watch them as much, so it was like, whatever. Like, they paid attention, but they didn't pay attention enough. And it's like, they would be like, are you going to watch them and all this other stuff? Or would constantly asking me information on both of my siblings. And I'm like, you expect me to watch both of them? I'm not even that much older than them. But yeah, it was just a lot. And like I said, it was just a lot. But that's probably about all I'm going to do right now. I may make a few other videos. I don't know. If you all have any questions or have been through something like this, please let me know. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what to do. I may drop some of my other social medias on here. Then again, this may just be my only account for this one. I may not share any information from the other accounts. But I'm probably sure I am going to link them down below for you all to see. If you want to see like cosplays or other stuff on my other account that I do. I also do reaction videos to animated stories. I'm not sure. But check those out down below. I have an Instagram. I have a TikTok. But yeah, I may do another video. I'm not sure. But yeah.